Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this, your Taurus, October 2024 reading and forecast. Hi, I'm Nigel Saint James, Clairvoyant. Well, this month we have a deck which is beautifully painted, I think. It was very generously given to me by somebody. Did you know that tarot decks traditionally are said to work better if they have been gifted to you, rather than if you obtain them yourself? Mine have all been given to me by people, I'm very pleased to say, very generous people over the years. And it's called the Tarot of Mystical Moments. Now, I am told that it's not difficult to get hold of. And so if you do like it and you think you might want to add it to something that you have, then I'm sure it's easy to find and probably very reasonably priced. Now, you know that I provide clairvoyant readings for people from different countries all around the world over FaceTime or Skype. And if you might be interested in seeing what's involved in that, then just check out the information that's in the description below. Now, I charge for those, but what I do not charge for is a separate gift that I was given at birth, which is the gift of healing. You may say that, well, if you don't charge for it, then it can't be any good, or it's not very good, or it doesn't work. Look, nothing could be further from the truth. The reality is that the gift was given to me to be used by anybody who asks for it, but I am to receive nothing in return for it. Therefore, I am not to be paid. I can't get anything for it, and so it is offered for free. There's no obligation, there's no expectation. You won't be talked into having a reading with me. You won't be talked into trying to get something from me or from anybody else. You might just be at your wit's end with something, but I do know this, that if this speaks to you, then just check out the information that's in the description and we'll set a time up. I usually leave time each day for healings. Now, let's have a look to see what's going on in this deck, shall we? And see what's going on. Now, there are no video advertisements breaking their way into this content, and so you get to enjoy the experience directly. Now, we're going to take 5 cards, because I'm pretty sure that's all we're going to need. Show me the magic. 2 of Cups. See, there's a beautiful painting itself. 9 of Wands, another one. That's this here. Queen of Cups. Water around you. Temperance. Temperance indeed. Lovely. Again, a beautiful painting. Deserves to do well, this deck. And then finally, the card of Death. Well, I'll bring the camera around, shall I, which will allow you to sit here with me while together we have a good close look at the paintings that are on these cards together while the cosmic energies swirl, and I'll do the reading for you. The strong and capable Taurus coming out of maybe some difficulties. This is a turning point for you, things changing. This is very interesting, this love with that major arcana there and this court card. I will start with this because it, I think, sets the stage for what is going to be happening. Now, here we have a painting, don't we? Isn't this beautiful, this painting here? You have a young woman who's made her way out of something which is rather difficult or unfulfilling. These mists here. She's traveling through a thorny thicket which has produced, look at these great things, what I imagine are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yep, 9 wounds maybe, or certainly tears on her blouse there. But this is what's important. She has her left hand pushing down, making her way through, and in this right hand of hers, there is the rose of strength, of ability, and of divine protection around her. Now, the interesting thing is that I see Sagittarius around a lot of the places here. This is the moon ruling the second decan of Sagittarius, the 3rd to the 12th of December. I think that there is here, and this is the theme which might be repeated, but there is a power gained through unifying your conscious and unconscious energies here. The moon in Sagittarius. I've also got the moon mystically associated with the planet, with the number 9. So it's about getting deep, deep into yourself. A determination, a strength of character. I think what's gone on through here is you have demonstrated courage under fire and you have defended what you have worked for. But now is a time when there is a great self-belief here. You have within you a lot of unused potentials which are setting free more energies which are experienced as new and unusual things. Now, because of the double lunar influence going within, this is a strength that grows from within. And the force of this newfound strength, it banishes the darkness of ignorance. I will say this, though, because I think it's got something to do with this card here. Because that's a Sagittarius energy as well, in just a second, that when the unconscious becomes visible, you are faced with many things you have covered up in order to avoid looking at them. And this can sometimes produce fear of some sort, the fear of feeling painful wounds that you've covered up and may have hoped to forget, fear of taking a risk again. There may also simply be a fear of your yet unproven strength, which now is reaching into all the areas of your life and reorganizing them. Now, it looks like your journey here, your trip here on the planet has seen you go through some difficult, perhaps even traumatic times, and I think that could have left you a bit bruised, a bit battered. But you're here, you've survived, and you're holding your ground, and now we'll be moving forward. I think you have traveled the rough path of the hero's journey or the heroine's journey. And there's a need, I think, for you to recognize and accept the experiences which lie back here in the past. Those things, of course, which have brought you to your present state of being. The really good thing about this energy now is that it is giving you the opportunity to reclaim your spiritual strength and to reclaim your life and the joy in your life. Now, it seems to me, with respect, that for you anyway, because you are strong and capable, but the problem can be that when you are strong, capable, and self-confident, it's then, more often than not, that people think that you don't really need things like comfort, reassurance, loyalty, or guidance. People are more often to look at you and say, I'll use the feminine pronoun because of this woman here, but of course this applies to men as well. People could well be looking at you and saying, oh look, she doesn't need this. That comfort, that loyalty, that guidance. She doesn't need that. She's already all of this and all of that. But the truth is, most probably, you are a strong, capable, self-confident person because you built yourself brick by brick into that person, because you had to become that person, and because you had determination enough to make yourself into the image that you knew you needed to become. Look, in my experience, at the heart of many strong, confident people is a heart most longing of the things that others simply take for granted. Now, I just must go to this Temperance card here, which has a particular meaning for you in relation to how and where all these other cards are placed. It's quite straightforward. Here is a woman underneath an umbrella. Look, these two doves here, they show release. They show trust. And this wispy dress, I think, shows that sometimes it just takes a little push from inside to go ahead and take a risk. I said the Sagittarius around here. Sagittarius, of course, occupies the 9th house on the zodiac wheel. The 9th house is the house of God. For some reason, I think that might be important here. Of course, this is not a religious reading, of course. But this is about the unification of opposites within you. It's a realization. There's an action that you take based on having looked within. And the action which is going to bring about balance and an inner change, a transformation, in fact. There's also a lot of creative energy here. The bringing together of opposites, that's what's coming around. Well, that's always a preparation for generating something new, because opposites come together, are attracted to each other, and can create new things. Now, I'm very much, because of all these other highly emotional cards around it, being guided to remind you of your heart, your precious heart, and the question of love itself. Well, you would know that to love at all is to be vulnerable. Love anything, and your heart can be squeezed. Very often, it can be broken. I mean, I've had my heart broken by women in the past. It's terrible. But if you want to make sure of keeping your heart intact, then you can't give it to anybody. You can't even give it to an animal. You need to wrap it carefully around with hobbies and work and little luxuries, avoiding all entanglements. You need to lock it up safe in a casket or a coffin. But in that casket, where it is lying safe, dark, motionless, airless, that heart will change. It won't be broken. It will become unbreakable, impenetrable, irredeemable, unrepairable. You see, to love is to be vulnerable and to take the risk. You see, the authentic life demands that you love, and you've got to find it if you don't have it. Because there is no great reward for being emotionally withdrawn. There's no prize for bottling up your frustration. Nobody is coming to congratulate any chronic self-repression. You see, by opening up, maybe you will inconvenience some people. Maybe you will trigger some conflict. Maybe you will be rejected or criticized, judged. Well, you know more than anybody that everything comes with a price, but everything has its compensation. To live the authentic life may require pain in order to get the gain. As I say, there is no gain without pain. But that pain will open the doors to joy, creativity, self-respect, and empathy. Whereas self-repression, on the other hand, costs you all the beauty of the world in exchange for a prison of comfort. Is it really worth it? Is it time to break free? Maybe, but I do see that this is a time of you bringing about some balance and moderation in your life. And you can let things develop at their natural pace. Certainly, this is demanding that you do some self-evaluation and re-examine what your real, authentic life priorities are. This is a challenge to looking inward. The hidden diamond is within you. Go inside to find it and say to yourself, I equally value the light and the dark within me. I am a well-integrated person. I am good enough. I am deserving of love. I am lovable, and I have always been lovable. And I surrender to the transforming powers of the divine, and I am an open channel for creative energy. Well, is it no surprise then that on top of it is this paint? Isn't this a remarkable painting? Now that's the sort of thing which I'm sure advertising agencies would love to see. Here are two women with some sort of affection for each other, holding these plants, which you can see are entwined together because it's showing here an emotional acceptance of one another as well. And this applies not only to people who may be lovers, but it applies to friends, to people in the workplace, to family members, and so on. Love. Well, the astrology of this is that of that planet of beauty, relationship, and love, Venus, coming into the first decan of Cancer, 21st of June to 1st of July, I guess. You know, the symbol for Venus is the circle with the cross on top. What Venus is also very much about is accepting that the divine wants you to experience everything that's within this circle and manifestation. So Venus can be very carnal. That is, it really loves the pleasures of manifestation. Sex, love, food, wine, enjoyment, everything like that. But what a benefit of this here, because that planet of Venus is in Cancer. Well, Cancer is the most maternal of the signs. So this is speaking of where you take the risk. Receptive love, happy relationships, and emotional exchange. It's such an important thing, love. Now, if you make a list of things that they don't teach you at school, they don't teach you how to love somebody. They don't teach you how to be famous, for example. You are not taught how to be rich or to be poor. They don't teach you how to walk away from somebody that you don't love any longer. They don't teach you how to know what's going on in someone else's mind. They don't teach you what to say to someone who is dying. They kind of don't teach you anything worth knowing. Now, to love somebody else, you must first love yourself. And if you do love yourself, truly love you for all the good things and the bad things that have made you up what you are today, you become attractive to others. If you love yourself, you become beautiful. Now, your receptiveness towards yourself, you see, well, that just readies you to give yourself to someone else. Then you can have a deep emotional exchange. In love, as in nowhere else, can we glimpse eternity. how might we think of eternity? Not like a mathematician or a physicist, but I would say that in the outward scheme of things, in the external scheme of things, there are some shining moments which are as brief as the twinkling of an eye, yet such twinklings are what eternity is made of. Moments where you can say, I love you, I'm proud of you, I forgive you, I'm grateful for you. That's what eternity is made of. Invisible, imperishable, beautiful words like that, which echo all throughout time. Now, it's also the case that this energy is also speaking of, I think you're going to hear of marriage. There's certainly the beginning of, I think, some really good relationships. There's a lot of romantic relationship around here, the deepening of existing relationships, of course, but also maybe close financial relationships, if I can put it that way, which would involve things like people involved in sales or in procurement, people dealing with members of the public. But I would say this to myself, because this is a time when love is highlighted for you, that there is nothing to do but enjoy what life offers. And I am now ready to let into my life the love relationships that will fulfill me. Now, see, it's just more and more pouring around this question of love for you. A very highly romantic, beautiful emotional period. Here is well, she almost looks like that Venus, but she doesn't. But Venus, Botticelli's Venus, rose up out of something like that, but she didn't have octopus tentacles for a head. Great degree of emotional integrity and parenthood around here. I think that this is a time when, you might be, and this is just something to be aware of, you might be very affected by people and events around you. That is to say that you might let into yourself things that people say. If they do that, get rid of them. Get rid of all negative people around you, because you're going to be very intuitive, a very good observer of people. I think that you will be able to see yourself in other people and also see through others, see behind them, look at the motives behind the actions and the words, and you'll be able to reflect those back to them. Now this sea which is behind her here, that's very calm, and I think it is, if were she to turn around, to be one that could reflect her image perfectly, which is speaking of the reflection of these people to you. Now what you radiate outward will be reflected in, or a reflection of, the deepest emotional reaches of your being. I think you will be in contact with your feelings, and you will show them openly and start to do it authentically, understanding that some change is necessary. Now, there could be people around you that don't understand you, but that's not a problem for you, because you will not compromise emotionally. Because to do so, you would have to deny yourself, and you might lose the glow of your beauty in doing so. You'll be able to get along with your friends really well and in a very deep way. Practical, greater communication. Now, I do have the feeling here that there is an emotional event from the past, I think, which damaged you very deeply, I think. However, it is in the graveyard, it's gone. And you should understand that your life is what you think it is. Your own words are the most powerful words that you will ever hear in your life. The words that you tell yourself and the thoughts that you create. You see, your thoughts are a picture that you have drawn, and they are surrounded by words which you give them. But this is also saying that by showing your feelings openly, then it's just inevitable. You are going to be beautiful. And then finally, and rather quickly, because I'm aware of your time, we come to this card here, Death. Now, this is actually a really good painting. I'm just looking at it here. You see how there's the skeleton rib cage there, but the woman is actually alive. So this goes to show that what is apparently dead or death actually gives rise to life. So this is about transformation for you and becoming free of old ensnarements. There are some endings here. Letting go of maybe some emotional attachments. It's almost as if it's the end of an era, end of a cycle, end of a way of you looking at yourself. Now, old relationships that are no longer serving you, well, they are now demanding to be disintegrated. Look, this process, of course, could be bound together with some painful experiences. However, because this has shown up with you in connection with this, then it indicates that you are ready and safe. The act of letting go, difficult though it may be, is actually going to